So, let's see what this looks like as I get into it pretty much immediately, and I'm just gonna go in... Oh, you're gonna go in blind, so... There's not really much else to say about this. I've put links in the description below if you want to find out what this is yourself. It's on sale for like 30 cents, 10% off, but otherwise, yeah, we're going in blind. So, I don't think there's anything else I want to do. Again, for now, I want to just do everything kind of vanilla, although I have played the demo, so that's why it gives me, it gave me some achievements before. So, without further ado, here we go. I'm playing this now, along with the other ones that I have been playing before, but I thought this deserves a special mention since it literally just came out. What do I want to say? It is quite fancy for what it is, but it's not something that I had on my radar until someone reminded me of things of the similar genre. I call it top-down roguelike. If we can call it whatever we want, but know that this is the genre that I'm usually sticking around to like touch every now and then. I've played a couple of others that are like this, but I couldn't really put it on this channel. So yeah, again, since I'm going in blind, I don't know the optimal routing. For now, I'm just gonna go and just feel first before I do any research. By the way, to note, I usually don't. I try to be very frugal, but compared to days of long past, if I were to use the words of a certain developer who has a channel who talks about game development, video games are quite cheap compared to other modes of entertainment that we might want to look at. Of course, the social aspect notwithstanding, although you can also argue to counter against that the social aspect, you know, if you're doing a multiplayer game, you have Discord, or if you're doing cooperative game, you also have Discord. If you're playing games, you know, to get achievements with your friends, or just, you know, streaming for those who are making content or streaming, it can be a very, very social aspect. But for me, though, I'm usually playing it on my own, but these days, usually I get some amount of joy out of recording, and if I could stream more often, but that's really on me to try to do, as I'm trying to kind of work on making videos on other things that I might be focused on. But yeah, even though Halloween is already over, well, the monsters haven't stopped coming in various other video games. That said, I think I'm gonna try to play it how I played in the demo. I might grab an extra weapon or two here, or spell here and there, but usually I focus on upgrading the couple of weapons pretty much that I have. Of course, if I don't see any other option, or I see something that I might want to build into, I'll try to test it out. Again, I'm more on the feeling phase of Spellbook Demonslayers, so we're gonna find out. Also, to put this out as a test video, if for no other reason than to give this game its due time to be played. So, at least one video, and if I feel like it, I'll do more. Otherwise, I'll probably play it on the side, because it is still relatively cheap for what we seem to be getting. We'll see what the developer actually decides, depending on their way forward. If I'm listening to the community correctly, there should be at least a couple of things in the near future, but again, we'll see. Which is true for a lot of other games and other resources I'm looking out on or keeping watch over, but it'll still depend. Oh my goodness, microphone, I just plugged you in. Why do you have to do this? On the other hand, or if you need to be reminded, but for those new to this channel, I usually try to treat every video as not as a live stream, but as a live recording, more to say. So if anything happens, well, I usually only get 1 or 2 shots. I might redo certain things, and I do cut and edit my videos before I render them and throw them up on a platform, but things can go wrong. I will never not admit that. I will admit that things can go wrong, but otherwise I mostly try to leave things in, especially if they're my first time, my goodness, my English words, playing a game, so that I can give the raw experience. And if that's not the case, I mean, this is pretty much new to me anyway. If I don't, I usually like to look into games that I play, and obviously when games first come out, there's not really a lot of information, which leads me to just feel everything out for the time being. And then sometimes I might stop and think to myself if there's no other information, take notes here and there. I am not the best learn by feel, but I don't think I'm bad at it, but I'm better at sitting back and looking at data, even if that's just my own data of how I performed in game, whether it be any game of any genre, shooters, fighters, strategy, RTS if I did play that, but do I want an illegal one? Nah, let's just ignore. So, and then we didn't really get anything, we don't get to upgrade anything, but let's go for freeze, because that's usually a interesting thing to take in most top-down roguelikes. Again, I'm calling them that for the last time, but to remind people, but there are a few top-down roguelikes I can think of where that's not the case, but in most other cases, especially if they're tied to damage, like elemental damage, like, sure, you can burn things over time, you can freeze things in place, but if there are any upgrades that stack on top of it, like when you freeze something, deal this much damage, when you burn something, deal like 50% more damage for damage over time, then that can get a bit, not overpowered, but it is definitely good. As for if it's optimal on harder difficulties, I'll have to see. So I think for now I'm just trying to survive as long as possible if we're looking at the progression of this game, but trying to upgrade weapons here and there is still something I think that's also part of the achievements. Again, I didn't take a look, I just wanted to get in and play, as I usually like to do for games that just come out. As I said before, if there's information out, usually within the first week in this day and age, then I'll look at it. No reason to put myself at a disadvantage. But yeah, going by feel, again, it's something I've done before in a professional gaming environment. It's been to my advantage. But as any game ages over time, there's only so much I can feel for me personally before I fall behind other people who might come together to stack their information together. I don't know what the correct word is, as I'm trying to focus on kiting these enemies while dealing as much damage as possible, which is, I think, I mean, if you're playing every single game out there, it's easy to forget, but if you're playing top-down roguelikes, trying to kill things and not escaping is actually to your benefit. You just have to be brave enough to risk getting, skimming the line, getting grazed without actually getting hit, getting as close to enemies to deal as much damage as possible, because the more enemies you kill, the more experience drops, the more experience that you get that drops, the faster you level up and the stronger you become proportionally, and then rinse and repeat. So you can't always run. And if you are getting overwhelmed, that means either your strategy is wrong or your movement is not optimal for whatever weapon you're using. But it could also be meta upgrades as well, but that's usually... that is a big portion of a lot of these top-down roguelikes, but if I were to give my own tips, even though there are better sources that have already gone thoroughly over lots of games in this genre, so what I'm saying is not anything new, but it does fall in line with probably good strategies that you should take into account if you are not accustomed to this genre of roguelikes, I guess. So I was thinking of calling them top-down shooters, but not every weapon you use is a projectile. Most of them that you use are projectiles, so I mean, I understand why you might call them that. I keep forgetting the actual genre people call them by, and not just bullet hell, but there's another term, but I worry about that less, and I just worry about the gameplay more. If there's a story, sure, I'll look at the story. If there are other aspects of the game that are being promoted to, get people to play, then I try to... I can look at them somewhat objectively, but that also looks into them as a product, but some of them are going out there for like $20, $30, and I'm like, USD anyway, and I'm thinking, probably don't do that, but I'm not the one in control. I'm not the developer or the person in charge of setting the prices for those games, so they can do so, and if they profit, they profit. If they don't profit, then they suffer at their leisure. I'm just saying, Spellbook Demonslayers, it was okay in my book. That's why I've been following it around and keeping a watch on its release date, and therefore made this video. Involved Dynamo, why not? I don't think... I didn't even look at anyone else yet, so I'm really just going into this blind. Nothing too, nothing that should be too difficult, because I haven't turned on any, of the difficulty settings. That's something I looked at, and I was debating whether or not I wanted to make it more difficult at first, but at least for my first time in, I should establish a baseline of, okay, how difficult is it going to be once I start using, once I start flipping the difficulty settings, or what do they call it in this game? I just forgot, because I just looked at a chunk of my HP disappear, and I got worried, but yeah, once I start putting them on, then I have a baseline of, okay, how much more harder does it get? I don't think I used that correctly, but as I try to unlock achievements, and basically unlock things in the meanwhile, I think for now, because obviously I don't have any universal upgrades, that's the first priority. But looking at what I have to complete in terms of achievements, trying to kill more than 2 birds with 1 stone, 3, 4 birds, might do me some good. That way I'm wasting less real-life time. If I were to also, you know, give you some information that you can use for yourself, along with the defeat as many enemies as possible to get as much experience as possible, as quickly as possible, to become stronger as soon as possible. That said, do I want to... These are usually worth it, but I'm not going to... 77%? Yeah, I like it. Yeah, RNG. I don't always want to roll on that, but it'll depend. Especially for first time unlocking things. For the first time as I try not to die. Oh, goodness. Please! Technically I did, but I have, well, no, I don't have any revives. I'll just continue moving on. I'm not going to pretend like I know what's happening most of the time. I'm just implementing my general knowledge of top-down roguelikes and the basic tips that I would probably give anyone, again, if you're new. If you're a veteran, I hope watching me reinforces your own views, because I don't think I have anything to teach you. So, although if you made it this far, then we'll see where we end up if weird things don't happen in the meanwhile, because yeah, this could actually end up in terms of technical difficulties behind the computer that I'm using. Hopefully nothing really bad happens, but we'll see. I want to grab those chests, but there are enemies in the way and they do a lot of damage, so we're hoping. I'm hoping that I can, if not kite them away, try to mow them down. It's taking a while though, so let me through. Before I go back for the treasure chest and experience, but mostly the treasure chest. Butterfly? No, just death. That game also came out recently. I'm not the type to play a lot of action games, so... And I'm sure it'll be, some of those games will be, more of those games will be available on Steam, which is a platform I use most of the time, but we'll see. I would be more inclined to do so if I got a Steam Deck, but that's a whole other conversation that I can have elsewhere. And it also wouldn't allow me to, well, I mean, there's a way to do it, but as for me right now, recording is going to be mainly on my PC. Again, if I were to get the Steam Deck, it would be more for when I'm doing other things and I'm not recording, obviously. That way I can play anywhere I want. I'm getting swarmed right now, so hold on for a moment. Can I snake through? I'm not grabbing any experience. I'm sure there is more magnetism slash increased pickup range, but I haven't taken any of those, so what do I want? Madam Death? Madam Death. And we'll hope that this holds off for me. 8 more minutes of this. Oh, goodness. Please? So, but whether or not I make more videos on Spellbook Demonslayers, I'm going to be playing it. I also have other things in my library that I should be playing, but I haven't gotten around to them because this month, as I said in other videos, is going to be busy for other reasons that are unlike months of the past. I think only really one month has been really busy for me in the same way that this month will be busy for me, which I will also be taking care of after this video. Also, not exactly special, but unique to, or a unique point of Spellbook Demonslayers are the towers that spawn. Paying attention to which, to what tower spawns and what you can do with them is probably going to be important, but again, right now I'm just going on feeling right now and doing what I can. So, see number that need to go down, do number by defeating enemies. Boss appears, make sure that boss can't catch up to me and poke me in the butt for hundreds of HP. Probably not hundreds of HP. Well, actually, that might be that amount if I stand inside the boss and allow it to wail on me. But until then, can I mow these down somewhat? I think I need like 2 salvos. Yeah, about 2 salvos to clear the ads that are on screen right now. The enemies on screen right now, but for saving my breath on syllables, I'll just say ads. The boss, on the other hand, as I get munched on, is being whittled down. And I'm picking up chests, dropping a lot of astral flowers, which will help me if I can speak correctly. That will help me get universal upgrades, but I'll see how much. I mean, they are going to make a difference as I progress through the game. Progression being trying to play on harder difficulties and or to unlock things, but we'll see. That boss, that doggo, is moving fast. Hasted. And then I ran to an enemy right there as well. We should be fine for now. I'm not getting swarmed, it's just I'm running into enemies on my own, so... Also, if I'm paying attention to the damage numbers, one of my weapons is not performed well. It's probably doing more crowd control, but it's not dealing the amount of damage burst-wise to clear enemies that appear in front of my face. But, again, strategy will be something more that I look into as the game continues to be live, unless updates happen and change game mechanics. But until then, here I am trying to survive. 6 more minutes now, about 6 more minutes now, but let's hope that good things happen. Yeah, I need about 2 salvos to clear enemies that are, or clear the first rows. I'm cleaving things through enemies, but that still doesn't change the fact that I need to be careful where I'm stepping. My eyesight aside, and the text aside that appears, it's not too much of a problem for me, but I can see how it might make a difference in very, very scrambly moments. Now let's keep upgrading. Let's see how good this is instead of spreading my weapon spread out. Because I think I'm full on spells, 4 for now, unless there's something weird happens. Again, trying to understand what's going on while I am playing as well. But 80% of me is working on feeling right now and not exactly thinking. Granted, this is kind of base difficulty as well, but hey, it's to be expected. That way we can get to the real juicy stuff later on, if this is viable for me to record in the more technical meaning of what I just said. Am I gonna get swarmed here? I should be fine, right? Nothing bad's gonna happen. Oh, please. I don't think, well, actually that's the weapon right there, isn't it? Or that's a more directional focused weapon. And by that I mean, if I'm looking the wrong way, I'm not gonna be hitting what I might want to hit. But speed is distance. Is speed distance here? It seems like it. The formula being the duration of a projectile and the speed of the projectile will equal the distance, and therefore affect the range of your weapon. Because there's not an exact stat for range, but you can. It's the same thing because that's how science works, right? Am I getting that equation right? Or am I doing that equation right? Distance then equals speed times duration or time, I guess, if we're to use more physics-based terms. But hey, school helps. Yeah, you know what? Let's start building into crit. Crit is usually a good idea, but sometimes it cannot be, so let's find out for sure, shall we? As I proceed to get swarmed a little bit. I can't aim this, right? As I'm getting hit. Yeah, I can aim it in all cardinal and intercardinal directions. Of course, that doesn't stop the boss from running at me because I'm not performing enough knockback. Knockback, is that what's called here? Let's find out if I can see the word. At least, at bare minimum, this is to remind myself if I ever look back at this. Oh goodness, please. So technically, I would have died there. I think it was a 3-second cooldown to stay at 1 second cooldown after quote unquote dying to stay at 1 to return to 1 HP is what I have right now, but I think I should still be okay. Let's find out though. So as I walk around and pick up this experience, I do need to turn around and hit these bosses eventually. But I am also getting swarmed, so let's make that not happen. 3 minutes left, by the way. And I think the way this works here, the way Spellbook, well, you'll see if I make it there. Otherwise, I mean, if I don't, that's on me, and you'll probably be looking at another video to see what happens. But for now, I should be able to, unless something really strange happens. Of course, I have to start running a lot more and not risk getting hit like that. But I think we should be fine. Again, if I play really safe, I know I can make it. Can I make it? Depending on when the wave changes. It doesn't feel like I can, actually. Let me turn around for a moment and try to cleave through the bosses. If I stand here, no, I don't think I can. No, I think I can. It's just the bosses I need to be wary of, because they will armor through and try to touch my face. So yeah, let's run. Well, yeah, why not, right? In hopes that I put out a little bit more DPS to start clearing these waves, which is not happening, but also there's a lot of things I need to look at, but because of how I've not formatted, to how I've placed the game on my screen, I'm going to be really interested to see what this looks like. Unless something really strange happens, but hopefully that doesn't. I'm speaking in, oh goodness, I'm speaking in vaguities because, or I'm speaking vaguely because I don't want to, I don't want to accidentally expose too much about what's going on behind the scenes as I'm looking to my side for a moment, but for the most part, I am autopiloting, but it seems to be working so well. However, not as much because, yeah, these projectiles are all coming out auto. If I'm thinking about what's happening in game right now, don't have to aim as much. I mean, there's always a point where you can kind of just AFK most of the time in these games, and that's the goal. That way, you're wasting as little as real life time as possible. Sure, you might not be able to use the piece of technology that you're playing the game on, but I could be doing other things as well. Yeah, so that's that achievement. However, I am getting swarmed here, mostly because there are a lot of bosses on screen, and we have 40 seconds left. Run! Run! As my throat proceeds to die, and I try to run around and grab as much experience as possible. But again, ultimately, we'll see what this does for me. Yeah, I think I'm going to be doing this. I think I can hold them off. I don't have anything shooting north and south, but I should be fine on that front, is what I believe in. Is this more? Yeah, that's more precise aim as well if I use the mouse, but intercardinals work for now, so unless I need to do that. But I should be fine. 5, 3, 2, 1. Alright, yeah, let's try to make it easier. So, this is probably, yeah, difficulty increase, ultimately increased, but let's see what happens, shall we? Because I could end up dying right here, which I probably shouldn't be dying, but we'll find out if I actually do die. Yeah, that's not enough to hold them back, so I do need to be kiting them around in a circle-ish, while keeping my icicles focused on where I want to run. That way I clear out any waves in front, unless I get hit like that. But It's fine. Again, I would be dead if I didn't have the the death protection. Let's see. Anything useful? Not really. But we'll do as good as we can. As I get hit again. I had to run through that enemy though. Do I need? Yeah, I need more than a few seconds to get rid of these new ads coming out. Unless I find a way around them. Again, they're not all of those enemies spawning, but these bosses that are getting faster. Or maybe, are they pushing each other? If they're pushing each other, technically that makes them faster, but I would like to not die if at all possible, so yeah, I think let's find out. Unless I chose the wrong timeout upgrade. I'll figure out the exact term for them, or try to. That's, again, a reminder to myself, but Big boss? Big boss? No. Not yet. Not quite yet. I need to run. Help! I'm being chased! They called me a demon slayer, and here I am, running. Running as fast as I can to not die! Okay. Aim down for a moment. Not enough. Not enough. More tankier ads are spawning! Help! I want to say, what is that? 200 HP? 200 enemies are now around 200 HP. The bosses are running at me so fast. And I'm trying not to die! But until then, let me know if you want to see anything in the comment section. Until then, this has been a first look into Spellbook Demonslayers as that continues to keep happening. And we'll see what happens. Thank you for watching.